Welcome to this week's Wiser. Now, there were four main stories that preoccupied my attention this week. Two in AI, one was a deepfake story, and the other was in social media. The big one for me was OpenAI's latest feature, Code Interpreter. I'm very impressed, and you can expect a lot of excitement about this new toy. The second was Claude. Having waited what seems like a million years to get access to Claude, the large language model from Anthropic, I finally got my hands on it, and I'm going to give you my first impressions. Third was a perfect example of how deepfake technology is being used in scams, demonstrating the downside of the explosion in generative AI. And finally, there's Threads from Meta. Now, I'm on it, but just as I was getting going, Meta pulled the plug on VPN access from Europe. I live in Spain. But here's the thing, Zuck has been really smart, and I do think there's a real chance that Threads will replace Twitter. More about that in a minute. For the Wiser Plus members, which is the subscription service that gets members extra content, I've continued the theme of delving deeper into the different large language models. Last week, I wrote the Bard versus ChatGPT comparison article, and thanks for your feedback, glad it was helpful. This week, I looked much closer at Pi, which happens to be my favorite of all of the AI chatbots. I had a great conversation with the large language model from Inflection AI and dug into why Pi is different to ChatGPT, Bard, and Claude. You can find all of this at rickhuckstep.com. And remember, if you just want the free account, pop your email address in to the subscription sign up and you'll get a free weekly newsletter and a free copy of my book, The Utility of Emerging Technologies. There's links to all of this in the show notes. Okay, first up is ChatGPT. Now, OpenAI have released a game-changing feature called Code Interpreter. This is exciting. OpenAI have opened up their Code Interpreter feature for all of ChatGPT Plus users, which costs about $25 a month up with tax. Code Interpreter gives ChatGPT the ability to load documents like PDFs and Word documents. It can write and run computer code. It can take all your source files and produce analysis, charts, and other visual outputs. It analyzes data in any number of formats, even unstructured. It even has facial recognition and let you interact and extract data within an image. Now, basically, Code Interpreter eats your data and spits it out, analysis, insights, charts, and visualizations, and can even perform sophisticated maths, something that large language models are not very good at. Here's the thing. ChatGPT has put the ability to do all sorts of data analysis and code-dependent tasks into the hands of everyday users. This is a set of capabilities way beyond the reach of the majority of humans, and by that I mean me. So if you're a small business, a sales rep, an accounts clerk, a product manager, basically anyone that works with data and is trying to figure out where to focus their time, effort, and energy, Code Interpreter is like the magic calculator for data analysis. I'm really excited about what they've done with Code Interpreter, and there's an article I've written on my website that you can read for free. Link will be in the show notes. Next up is Anthropic, who finally released Claude version 2. Now, you may have seen a ton of posts that have called Claude the app that will kill ChatGPT. Well, I'm not so sure. If you're not familiar with Claude, let me back up a bit. Like the majority of AI tools, Anthropic is a foundational AI like ChatGPT and Bard, and calls itself a safety startup. Anthropic is based in San Francisco, and unlike all the other AI systems, Claude is not an acronym. It simply is the name they gave the AI. Anthropic have raised around $1.5 billion so far to build an AI that is, in their words, capable of longer and safer conversations with humans. And it is true that you can load much longer prompts into Claude than you can in ChatGPT. But here's the thing. I was disappointed with Claude. Claude is meant to be very capable, scoring 75% in the bar exam and coming in above the 90th percentile in reading and writing college entrance exams in the USA. But it couldn't write 10 sentences that ended in the word apple. That in itself is not exceptional because I haven't found any of the AI systems that can do that yet. The difference, in my humble opinion, between Claude and all the other foundational LLMs is that Claude didn't appear to be able to do very much at all that was very different to what we can already do. Now, I have to say that I'm warming to Claude the more I use it, and I often do the same prompt in ChatGPT and Claude to see which one does it best, and I flip between the two. And for all of you budding AI users out there, I'd recommend playing with all of them. So it's Bard, ChatGPT, Pi, and now Claude. Now let's talk about Threads, which topped 100 million users in the first week as Twitter usage tanked. Now, whatever you think of Facebook and Zuckerberg, and for me, I've never been a fan of the platforms, although there's no denying the awesome cash generating business model that Zuckerberg has built. The masterstroke was tying Threads to Instagram because it means that a user takes their social graph with them when they sign up to Threads. When I think about setting up an account on Mastodon, it was so hard to do. And then you start with nothing, no friends, no followers, and no feed. Flip over to Threads, and on day one, you have all your friends, contacts, history, preferences from Instagram. It's called your social graph, and it's like being born a teenager and skipping the first 13 years of growing up. Now, my first impressions of Threads is that I like it, which is something I never thought I'd say about a Facebook product. It's unpolluted and clean, but it is also early days and missing a ton of features that is going to make it the true Twitter killer. The main one being you can't search for trending hashtags. That will come, I'm sure. Now, the point is that Zuckerberg did the smartest thing when he built Threads. He made it to look just like Twitter. No pretense, no fancy gimmicks, just a simple cut and paste of someone else's good idea. It's a playbook that Zuckerberg's used many times. And suddenly, the Zuck is cool again, thanks to the single-handed efforts of his arch-rival, Elon Musk, who has weakened and demoralized Twitter to such an extent that it was just a matter of time before somebody come up and just did a copy and paste. Now, here's the thing. Musk can huff and puff all he likes about suing Zuckerberg for stealing Twitter's IP. But the truth of the matter is that Musk has been undermining Twitter's defenses since he took over. We talk about building moats as the analogy for fending off competitive threats. Well, Musk has filled his moats, lowered the drawbridge, and fired 80% of his foot soldiers, leaving Fortress Twitter defenseless. You can see it in the numbers. Twitter usage is down 11% year on year. And the CEO of Cloudflare, the internet company that delivers web pages faster, posted a screenshot on Twitter a week ago. And they showed that usage is only going one way, which is down. It was down 5% in the first 2 days after Threads. Now, as a side note, Twitter's other big rival is called Blue Sky, from the original Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, and it hit its first 1 million installs last week. Now, the problem here is that the only way to join Blue Sky is by joining the waiting list, which I have, and I'm still waiting. And I don't know anybody on Blue Sky, so I can't get an invite from them. Now, here's the thing, right? Launching a new social media platform is really hard. With all of Jack Dorsey's personal credibility, significant wealth, and the resources at his disposal, he hasn't been able to do it in 3 years, what Zuckerberg has done in 3 months. Having said that, I'm optimistic about Blue Sky from what I've heard, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, finally, I want to talk about Martin Lewis and this deepfake video scam.
The scam clip currently circling online shows Martin apparently endorsing an investment scheme from Elon Musk.
Elon Musk presented his new project in which he has already invested more than $3 billion. Musk's new project opens up great investment opportunities for British citizens. No project has ever given such opportunities to residents of the country, given the interesting features of the app and having seen how it works.
Now, a downside of the mainstream adoption of generative AI is the rapid rise in misinformation, disinformation, and deepfake videos. As you just saw in the video, it's convincingly persuasive that it's Martin Lewis doing the talking, but it's all fake. Here's the thing. Martin Lewis is a highly trusted consumer champion in the UK. Anyone watching this thinking it's Martin Lewis would be taken in and vulnerable to the scammers that made it. The point is that you don't need to be Disney to make these fakes. I just went to see the latest Indiana Jones, and the opening scenes where Harrison Ford looks 40 are incredible. It's hard to see the joy, and I was looking. But that's Disney. In the case of the Martin Lewis deepfake, these can be made for very little money, given the number of generative AI platforms that are now on the market, all competing for a modest monthly subscription. By comparison, Disney spent $300 million making the latest Indiana Jones movie. The point is that for all the upsides and benefits of AI, we are all going to have to be very careful. It's going to be hard to distinguish the truth and to trust our own eyes and ears. Now, with elections next year in the UK and the United States, you can expect to see many examples of deepfakes in places you don't expect to see them. Now, that's all for this week. For more of these stories and a ton more other links and information about what's happening in the world of technology and business, head over to the website and look for newsletters, the newsletters button in the header at the top, and you'll see the latest, the newsletter there. Everything you need to know is in the show notes, by the way. Thanks for watching. See you next week. And remember, insight and information gives you leverage. Take care now.